Hey YouTube, so as you know from my previous video, that my clutch bolt broke and my clutch came flying off. I wasn't going very fast, but it didn't seem to matter. Clutch is pretty much done. If you can see right here, there's a side piece right here, and then right there, it's broken off. You can see that. So there's rollers that go on it and everything, and I think they're getting caught, so time for that to go. I ordered a new clutch, and it is here. It's the exact same clutch and everything. Obviously it didn't come with a spring or weights or anything, so I'm gonna put mine in there. But yeah, it's pretty easy to put weights in if you are sort of mechanically inclined. You pretty much, if you have a spring in here, what you do is you use some sort of, I use a tire spoon, and you press down like that, and then you wedge something in there, and then you work on this one, and then you wedge something on this one, and keep going around until you've changed all the weights. A little tool that's really helpful when I change the weights is this. It's kind of sort of like a pencil but made out of metal, and you just push all your stuff through the hole and then you put the bolt after it, and nothing falls in or anything, and it's really nice. So then, got my little area right here where I'm working on it. Got my computer in case I need to look something up, my book in case I need to look something up, but I don't really have a 99, so still pretty close. And then another problem that happened on this last ride, well, I found it. This is my airbox right here, and if you can see that right there, there's silicone, and I tried to fix my my little boot piece. Sorry if you can hear my cat, she's really being annoying. And got this whole airbox off, and we tried to patch it for the time being, but it really didn't hold up. You can kind of put your whole finger through it. And then it's also ripped up here, like that. So, yeah. So that's got to be replaced, and it's kind of stupid because just that little boot cost 50 bucks, and then the clutch costed like 277, which really isn't a bad price, especially being brand new. But yeah, it just came in today, so I'm gonna put in the weights and everything, and if I have a torque wrench I can find, then we'll put it on the snowmobile. But till then, out. So there, I've got all of but one of the top bolts out. Just used a 3/8 wrench, and we'll get the last one out. I already got them loosened up, and well, if you're putting this on, you want to make sure it goes on true. So you want to like put them on so that it's going down straight rather than cockeyed. But first of all, it was already loose, and second of all, I don't really care because this is an old clutch now. So here's my red spring. Red spring. I don't really know if this is what should be on here, like stock, but I know it's better than what I had on there, because when I got the sled it had a purple and it had really light weights, so it engaged really late, and it was like 5,000 RPM before I started moving, and I didn't really like that because I like a lot of low end power. So different spring, and then I also changed the weights. So for my weights I ran, that was my phone. For my weights, I run 54 grams, and they're 54 gram weights, and they have notches in them. They're tricked weights, so that on the roller, they get caught a little bit. And then they're 54s, which is called for 53 stock, so these pull pretty hard. So I like that. So let me just get these out. So right now I have gotten all the other weights out of this clutch already, so you guys don't have to sit there and watch me do it. But I got this one last weight just to demonstrate how to do this. sort of a hard job to do with only one hand though. But you take the Allen key, you put it where the Allen key goes, okay, and then you put a wrench on that side and you turn it until it comes out. So let me do this real quick. So now that you've got the bolt out like that, then your weight's just sitting there, and you can take out your little spacers, and then you got your weight right here. So then you're going to want to put the weight in the new clutch if you're in my situation. So, or you put the new weight in your clutch, whichever you're doing. So then I got the new pieces right here, and these two are the only really tools you need. But this thing is really helpful, and it's easy to make. You can just make it with a grinder or something. It's sort of like a pencil, but made out of metal, and it's really helpful. So, in order to install a weight, here, let's get this out of the way. Don't really care about that clutch because it's junk, but it's still an alright parts clutch. But so you get your new pieces right here, and you set your weight in there where it goes. The only really thing you gotta worry about here, and it's not really that big of a deal. Well, it is a big deal, but it's not that hard to mess up. Make sure you put in your bolt that way, or the way you took it out. Don't put them in backwards. That's a bad idea. So now that you've got your weight in there, like I said, this is kind of hard. Make sure you've got that little thing pointed out in the spacer. Stick that in there, and then the other side. So after you've done that, then you use, if you have it, or if you can buy these, but they're easier to make and cheaper. So you stick that through there, like so, and it puts everything in alignment, and then take this behind it, just kind of follow it up, and push it through, and then you don't have to worry about all that stuff falling. And it's more helpful when the clutch is on the machine and stuff can fall in there. But right now it's kind of as open as it gets because it's got no spring or anything. So then you've got your little, well, it helps if you put some Loctite on here. I don't have any right now, but I think I'll probably take it apart once I get some and put some in there. So you put on your other bolt, and you don't want it to be super tight. You want to make sure it doesn't fall off. But and then after you've got that in there and tight, you just want to go through and make sure everything's moving right and stuff, so that nothing's caught anywhere in your clutch, and you should be good to go after that, after you tighten it. And then pretty much all you gotta do is put in the spring and put this on the actual snowmobile. Hey, so all about this old boot right here. I just got the clutch put back together and got the spring put in, and there's a better view of what it really looked like. And it's all silicone and stuff, and it's all torn and rotten because it's all old. So I got the new one put on. It's really easy. You just pop these out. We used like a wire cutter and just kind of pulled them out. Just don't squeeze. And then they're reusable, so you just push them back in. You can push them back in with your finger. And then this is the air box right here, and these are the wire cutters we used right here. They're kind of like angled in, so it worked really well, and you could just pop them out. So we got the new boot in here, and I guess we're gonna start installing the rest of the parts on the air box. So here's the well, some people call them moose horns that go to the go to the carburetors. Now, there's nothing, we don't really need a tool to do this, but it just snaps into place. You push it down, and once you have all the corners snapped in place, like I think I do, then you move on to the next piece. This should be the next piece, and goes right in here like that. Oh, that's backwards. So you get it on like this, slide these into those little notches, and then you got 3 little bolts to go. That I have them right there. Just 3 little bolts, and then you got to bolt the airbox into the snowmobile. I'll get back to you when I'm done with that. Alright, so we got the new clutch on right here. Torque it to 55 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty self-explanatory. We just used the bolt and the crank. Other than that, maybe I'm going to clean my secondary. So, then we got the airbox back in. Everything's all seated up. And, I guess we're pretty much done. Other than maybe I should clean my secondary again. But, so as of right now, I've got, as I said, the 54 weights with the trick notch, and then I've got the red spring. I don't know if that's stock or not. And then I've got a 62 helix, so it's pretty steep, and then a yellow spring. I cleaned my sheaths previously, but I think there might be metal shavings in there, so I kind of want to get those out of there. Other than that, pretty much it's all put back together. The only really damage to the snowmobile from the clutch coming off was the clutch guard, and it kind of got a little ding there, and then broke a couple rivets. So I just got to re-rivet it. But other than that, it's pretty much back together. So, out.